Hello, my name is Martine DiDomenico, and I know when you look at this title, you may feel confused, puzzled, maybe even a little worried. But I'm here to tell you that this is so much more than we know. You should not be worried. In fact, you should be amazed at what technology has spiraled and what it has become. I think this is exactly why I'm here to talk to you today. Many young adults in our generation do not know the specifics of ISIS, where it began, how it started, what threats they have posed, but we do know the use of social media like the backs of our hands. In fact, raise your hand if you know what raise your hand if you know what Insta is abbreviated for. Raise them high. Now, raise your hand if you know what ISIS stands for. Okay. Well, as you can see, this is a much smaller number than when I asked you to raise your hand for what Insta is abbreviated for. No one is at fault for this, since it is not a part of our education system. I know there's a lack of information in this field simply from teachers posing questions in classrooms and students having no idea how to answer them. I know at Gil St. Bernard's there is a current events club and not a current events class that we can take. In fact, students can only join this club out of their own time and is not a part of their own schedule. When scrolling through your feed, you may see 300 people bombed in the Syrian bombing. Now, what does this truly mean? How many people were killed? Where did this bombing occur? How did this happen? What events leading up to this made this happen? Some may say technology is easy to use, while others have difficulty. Now, ISIS, ISIS, which stands for Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, or ISIL, which is ISIL, or Islamic State of Iraq and the Al-Sham, which is ISIS, is fluent in this technology. Most of their rulers, like Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, have mandated the use of social media and recruitment of ISIS soldiers. Doesn't this seem odd to you? Overseas, ISIS members are using technology, the same exact apps that we do, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, except they are using them vastly differently. 9 out of 10 high school students use social media, according to CBS. For ISIS, they have over 90,000 accounts, ISIS-related accounts. Following you are probably your friends, maybe some of your family members. But for ISIS, they have over 5,000 followers on each one of their accounts, according to Time magazine. ISIS has the most sophisticated propaganda machine out of any terrorist organization. It is a global communication strategy that has puzzled counterterrorism officials while making significant strides amongst U.S. advocates. 3,400 Westerners have gone to Syria to join ISIS. 200 have attempted to go to Syria to join ISIS, but it is hard to discern how many ISIS sympathizers there are on U.S. soil. So, what is terrorism? What have I been speaking to you about today? Terrorism is defined as the act of violence and intimidation used for political aims. This is exactly what ISIS is doing when using social media. In fact, they don't simply just know how to use it. They are fluent in it. Their fluency in Twitter has caused over 1,000 accounts to be suspended. The anonymity of social media is what makes the detection so tricky. They're able to detect, fortunately, most American computer masterminds are able to detect their encryption tools, which were once only accessible to the government's intelligence agencies. Not only is ISIS posing threats on social media, but they are simply taking Islamic beliefs and spreading them throughout social media. ISIS blatantly posts videos of attacks, beheadings, and killings. These videos have made headlines on MSNBC, Fox, CNN, etc. They have struck France, Tunisia, Kuwait, and even a country similar to ours, England. This is what puts the severity into perspective. When I read these articles of women or Westerners joining ISIS, I'm amazed. They simply seem so vulnerable, and they seem so easy to manipulate. All of these women attempting to join ISIS range from all different backgrounds, coming from Denver all the way to London. They have become jihadist fighters, and 550 women are already raising the next generation of jihadist fighters. Some Westerners have gone to use their expertise and help ISIS with medical assistance. Although most of the motives are unknown, of the ones known, they are of a mixed background. No pilgrim fits one profile. They all are ranging from rappers to grandparents to students like us. This is not the first time this has happened in American culture. Pilgrimages from China and the Soviet Union simply prove how, in this case, desire trumps reason. ISIS sympathizers and recruiters feel the need to join because they want to be a part of a perfect social system, and they want to be a part of something that can combat U.S. forces. Sociologist Carl Mannheim said, quote, "Wishful thinking has always figured in human affairs," end quote. The persuasion and intimidation of ISIS is what overcomes critical thinking. In 2014, 3 girls from Denver attempted to travel to Syria. They told their parents they were going to the library, and in the next second they were gone. One stole $2,000 from her father, and she fled. According to investigators, these girls had been planning to travel to ISIS for months before. The FBI could not detect all of their online activity, and that is where the U.S. is at fault. That is where we are failing. One of ISIS's motives is to bring a perspective of utopia to the Western Hemisphere. Based on a recent poll of people that have immigrated to ISIS, Westerners feel the need to join because they want to express their hate for prejudices against Muslims. These women claim themselves as victims, but how? Aren't they putting themselves in this position? Prime Minister David Cameron has spoken much about this topic, and he has said that ISIS makes themselves look victim-like and iconic instead of villainous and murderous. In a study based on the recent pilgrims to Islamic State, they have all said that they push aside threatening information, and instead they make a sense of utopia from what they hear of ISIS on social media. Today, I'm not here to scare you about what ISIS is doing overseas and how their presence in the United States here is so large. It is so much larger than me standing here and telling you all these facts. Instead, I hope you came out of today feeling enlightened, feeling like you found something new, and feeling like there's something so much more, something that you can take from this speech. Thank you.